while we've been here, some pretty grim job numbers back at home. 9.5% unemployment in June, the worst numbers in 26 years. How do you explain that? Because when the president and you all were selling the stimulus package, you predicted at the beginning that if you get this package in place, unemployment will peak at about 8%. So either you misread the economy or the stimulus package is too slow and too small.
The truth is, we and everyone else misread the economy. The figures we worked off of in January were the consensus figures of most of the blue chip indexes out there. Everyone thought at that stage, the bulk of
CBO was a little bit higher. I thought it would be a little bit higher.
But they're all in the same range. No one was talking about that we would be moving toward, we're worried about 10.5% or be 9.5% at this point.
But we're looking at 10 now, aren't we?
Well, look, we're much too high. We're at 9.5 right now. And so the truth is there was a misreading of just how bad an economy we inherited. Now, that doesn't, I'm not laying this on, but it's now our responsibility. So the second question becomes, did the economic package we put in place, including the Recovery Act, is it the right package given the circumstances we're in? And we believe it is the right package given the circumstances we're in. We misread how bad the economy was, but we are now only about 120 days into the recovery package. The truth of the matter was no one anticipated, no one expected that recovery package would in fact be in a position at this point of having distributed the bulk of money.
No, but a lot of people were saying that you needed to do something bigger and bolder than, including the economist Paul Krugman. And he's saying right now, he's saying the same thing again. Don't wait. You need a second stimulus. You need it now.
Look, what we have to do now is we have to properly, adequately, transparently, and effectively spend out this $787
That's your job.
billion.
You're in charge of it now.
That is my job, and I think we're doing it well. If you notice, George, I mean, there were other predictions. This was going to be wasteful, and all these terrible projects were going to be out there, and we wasting money. Well, that dog hasn't barked yet.
Well, Senator Coburt's identified some.
Yeah, no, he hasn't, but he did. He identified 148 of which we had already killed. And the rest I dispute. So the bottom line, though, is I think anybody would say this has been pretty well managed so far. The question is, how do you now, what we have to do, George, is we have to, as this rolls out, put more pace on the ball. The second 100 days, you're going to see a lot more jobs created, and the reason you are is now all these contracts for the over several thousand highway projects that have been approved.
But you're also seeing states across the country cutting back on their programs. Many of the people on unemployment today are going to run out of unemployment in September. That means for a lot of those people, if there's not a second stimulus, they're going to be out in the cold.
Well, look, we have increased the amount of money unemployed. Those in unemployment roll have gotten 12 million people are getting more money because of the stimulus package. We've increased the number of people eligible by 2 million people. We've given a tax cut to 95% of the people who get a pay stub. They have somewhere between 60 bucks a month out there. That's going into the economy. There's a lot going on, George, and I think it's premature to make the judgment.
So no second stimulus?
No, I didn't say that. I think it's premature to make that judgment. This was set up to spend out over 18 months. There are going to be major programs. They're going to take effect in September. $7.5 billion for broadband, new money for high-speed rail, the implementation of the grid, the new electric grid, and so this has just started. The pace of the ball is now going to increase.
So you're in charge of the stimulus. You're the president's envoy here in Iraq. You're supposed to settle this dispute between the Director of National Intelligence and the CIA over who's going to appoint the station chiefs. By the way, have you solved that one yet?
I think we've solved that one.
You have?
Well, let me put it this way. I think we're well on the way of that being solved.
Who won?
They both won. So
they're going to share the responsibility to appoint station chiefs?
Not done yet. Let me comment on that next week to you.
Okay. Well, let me get to the broader point then. You say you fixed the problem. We'll look to find out that they fixed the problem. We'll look to find out the details on all that. But you've got all of these discrete projects now, and when you came in, you talked a lot about how you didn't want to get bogged down in individual projects because you wanted to be, the president's primary advisor. Are you worried you're going too far in the other direction?
No, because all these projects have end dates on them. They all have sell-by dates, because and that's I think that I hope I brought some real expertise to this job available to the president. The things he's asked me to do, I hope I'm relatively good at, but all of them have specific objectives.
Finally, Sarah Palin.
Yes.
You were the last person to run against her.
Hey, can I call you Joe? I think I'm safe.
Were you surprised by her decision to step down?
Well, look, you and I know, and I shouldn't say that because that implicates you in my answer. But those who've been deeply involved in politics know at the end of the day, it is really and truly a personal deal. And personal family decisions have a real impact on people's decisions. I love reading these history books and biographies of people. The reason they made the choice to run or not run was because of the state of the economy. It maybe had a lot to do with what the state of their life was and the state of their family, et cetera. So I'm not going to second guess her.
She cast herself as the victim of political blood sport in that press conference. Is that how you see it?
No, I respect her decision. I don't know what prompted her decision to not only not run again and also to step down as a consequence of the decision not to run in 2010. I take her at her word that it had a personal ingredient in it, and you have to respect that.
Mr. Vice President, thank you very much.
Thank you.